Okay, thank you very much for the introduction. By the way, my name is Frits von Seydlitz.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's very difficult, even for Dutch people. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I was asked to tell you something about my experiences of a Dutch CROBECO notary. Well, the challenge is that that I've only got 15 minutes, and I can assure you that I can speak about my CROBECO experiences for 15 hours if I want. But since I've only got 15 minutes, I'll skip the first page. And skip the first page. I'm sure I have a second page too. Okay, can you help me on this one?
I'll help you.
Yeah? Oh, okay, thank you very much. Okay, the dates are already mentioned by Philomena. Well, there are two important dates for, as well as CROBECO, as for me and my office. The first CROBECO transfer was at 2010, 25th of November. It was a plot in Segundo, an apartment, and it was, well, completed successfully. And after that, I thought, well, I was ready for the world, at least for Spain. But then came the disappointments because many clients, potential clients, I had to disappoint them because the most of them who bought a house in Spain also had to pay the houses. Okay, and wanted, even in Spain, yeah. And they needed a mortgage, and that was something that we could not offer yet. So I was very pleased that in Tallinn in 2011, the 1st of December, ELRA has decided to also work on a CROBECO mortgage deed, which was achieved in half a year later, 31st of May 2012. And since then, mainly since then, I can inform you that we have executed about 15 notarial deeds, and well, the majority, the farthermost, have been executed the last month or the last 2 months. And why? Because we work together with the ABN AMRO Bank. That's the biggest bank in Holland, especially for cross-border financing. So that's our luck. We have good collaboration with the ABN AMRO Bank. Well, the next sheet, I hope I can do that myself. Yeah. Oh. There are some requirements before becoming a CROBECO notary. Well, of course, you have to have an electronic connection to the Registro de la Propiedad. There has to be some specialized software. You have to obtain a NIN number, and of course a Spanish bank account, otherwise you cannot pay the registro. And this one, the last point I have added at the last moment, it's about knowledge. And not only knowledge of the language, of course, but also you also need a certain kind of knowledge about the legal system of the receiving country. And if I speak for myself, 3 years ago, I began out of the blue. I just started without any knowledge and with very little support, I must say. And that caused a lot of problems a few years ago. Problems that could have been avoided if I had myself more informed about the legal system in Spain, better supported. But I just saw something which I am very excited about, the help desk from Antonio. That's really, that's amazing. And I think every CROBECO notary, with the clauses of Jacques and the help desk from Antonio, that will be essential help. So I would advise each future CROBECO notary also to obtain certain skills about the law of the receiving country. Well, the next advantages of the CROBECO approach. Of course, the fully electronic registration. There are no more couriers needed to go from Holland to Spain, and it's more certain that and faster, of course, that the of arriving of the deed in the registro. Very important is also that you can help your clients in their native language, and that's been very appreciated by our clients. That's a big advantage of the CROBECO approach. Then the legal position of the purchaser, the applicability of a home country law because of Rome 1 and 2 and Brussels, but that's also discussed by Jacques and just by Andrew. Next to money circulation via Dutch notary. We don't work with down payments to real estate agents or sellers. We have, in Holland, every notary has a third-party account, and all the payments have to be received by me from the seller concerning the purchase price, the fee of the real estate agent, but also the taxes. And after receiving the confirmation by the registro, then I'll pay out the parties. So that's also, I think it's for Dutch people who are used to that role of the notary, is a big advantage. And then the costs. Well, being a Dutch notary, I don't need a translator. I know Dutch language, so that's no problem. So I think that's generally spoken for the more expensive houses, that we are a little less cheaper than when you go to the Spanish notary. Well, there are some challenges left. One and two, I'll take them. I joined them. The first, the unfamiliarity with CROBECO at the potential Dutch buyers. Simply, the public doesn't know that CROBECO exists, so that's a big problem. It's a marketing problem. I think it's my problem. Then the reluctant attitude of real estate agents, banks, and lawyers in Spain. Well, they're not used to it, and so they're acting, in my opinion, very defensive, and they're used to their own notary, their own way of working, and they're not very open for new initiatives. Gathering the required information in Spain. Well, for example, town hall, is there a last will? That's kind of information. It would be, well, the help desk would be, of course, part of the solution. And then the unfamiliarity with the Spanish land registry system for us in Holland. There are, of course, as you know, there are two kinds of registering, the registro and the catastro, and there's not as we are used to in Holland, just one centralized registro. And that last one is our main problem, because I think there are over 1,000 registradores, something like that, in Spain. And every registrador, every registrar, has its own rules, not a good word, has its own customs. And he's entitled to accept or not accept a notarial deed. For example, our deeds have been refused because of the need number that we put on page 2 instead of page 1. Postal address that we did not add, and which was not an issue in former deeds. Those issues have happened. But I'll tell you something about the story when I just started. Well, it's a year ago. A gestor from the Costa Blanca, he said to me, he's Dutchman, but he lives in Spain and works in Spain for 25 years now. He says, Frits, listen to me very carefully. In Spain, a notarial deed is like a pizza. I said, pizza? Yeah. pizza. Some registradores want the pizza with salami, some like it with cheese, some with tuna fish or those little salty fishes. What the fishes. And before drafting the deed, you can best inform how that particular registrar likes his pizza. You want salami? Okay. And you go back to your kitchen and make a pizza with salami. But our point is that if you're a registrar in Malaga, you have to deal with 2 or 3 registradores. But we work throughout the whole of Spain. From we have had plots in the Catacash till the Canaries, and so we have to know how to bake 1,000 different pizzas. And this registrador in Malaga, he's only had to know how to make 3 pizzas. So that's very difficult for our kitchen, for our cooks. So, well, I would be in favor of only one registrador who deals with all foreign deeds. I think that's the way it goes in Portugal. Yeah? Right now, okay. So, well, maybe that will be something for the future. But the help desk will, of course, be some centralizing factor too. Okay, well, then, of course, there are solutions for the problems that I mentioned. The unfamiliarity with CROBECO at potential buyers, and the reluctant attitude of real estate agents, banks and lawyers. Well, we have to increase the public awareness. Also, and that slips in my mind now, is also issue to increase the awareness at the registradores, because it also has happened that we have delivered the notarial deed on the electronic CROBECO way, and then the registrador also wants to have it the traditional way, in paper with apostille. So we have sent the deed twice to that registrador. Well, yeah, I put that in bold because the solution for our main problem, that the gathering of the information and the different ways of working from the registradores can of course be solved by the CROBECO help desk, the NetPro system. An effective help desk is an absolute must for making a success of the CROBECO project, and what I've seen today, I'm fully convinced of the success of the CROBECO project in the future. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your recipes of pizza. Right now, I would like to ask you if you have any questions. Yes, down. Someone, the microphone. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Frits, for your presentation. I'm sorry, but I'd like to ask you a question. How many notaries are there in Dutch Holland?
How many notaries are in Holland?
Yes.
Too many, I can assure you.
So we also have too many pizzas in Holland by the notaries.
Sorry?
So we will also have a lot of pizzas in Holland offered by the notaries, right?
Oh, I know where you're going to.
Yeah, I'm telling you. The thing is that in Holland, as far as I know, you don't have a land registry system. So you don't have registers qualifying a deed. You have a notarial system. The notary qualifies. So if the notary qualifies the legal approach of the document, we can understand that also the notaries have different approaches of each situation or contract or I'm sorry. So I don't think it was very happy idea, the pizzas approach.
Well, I'm sorry if I offended you. It was not my.
I am not an. I'm not
It was not my intention. I thought it was a funny story, and to build out my my experiences. But to answer your question, the Dutch notaries are very similar in their deeds, and well, we have one registro in Holland, one cadastro. We don't have the distinction between cadastro and registro. We have one land registry, and that land registry accepts or does not accept a notarial deed. It is not possible that in Holland we have a different system. We have only one registro, and so we know what we can expect from that registro. So that's the. Sorry.
Because the register system does not qualify the legality of the document. So they accept all the documents. That's the difference, I believe.
I think I'll give that to the question to the chairman of the Dutch land registry, Mr. Lohman.
I will say something about that, but at the moment I am no longer in force, but I used to be chief registrar in the Netherlands for a long time. And we have a centralized organization of 7 registrars with one chief registrar at the top. So indeed it is true that when the notaries offer deeds, they all come to the same office, and in the end there's only one person responsible, that's the Dutch chief registrar, whether the deed is accepted or not. And I think, Jacques, you must correct me when I tell it wrong, I think about 4% of the deeds are not correct. And 2% are refused, so we refuse also deeds, and 2% are not correct, but there's no reason to refuse. Then we offer the notaries a possibility to update the deed with an annex or something like that. So well, talking of pizzas, well yes, we have a little bit, but not so much as in Spain probably. But I agree, we have a different legal system. I can imagine that when you have a title system, there are more reasons to refuse a deed than when you have a deed system as we have.
That's the main problem, that there are 2 different systems, and I'm not used to the system that is used in Spain. So it's not really the problem of Spain, it's mainly my problem, of course. Any more questions? Wow.
I'd like to explain something about Spanish system. Perhaps we have so many pizzas in Spain because we have 17 different laws. So it's not similar to Holland. Spain is not only a country, it's 17 countries in one. So perhaps it's the reason we have so many pizzas in Spain, and that's why the different registers have different ways to see, because they must apply 17 different laws.
Yeah. I know there are 17 different
about the pizzas in Spain.
Regions. But that should be the reason. You're quite right. But that's not that's my problem, because I live in a small country that's maybe some few square meters bigger than Barcelona, and we have only one registrar. So I'm not used, and my colleagues in Holland are not used to work in Spain with so many different countries in one country. But it's my problem. It's not your problem, but I have to tell you something about my experiences, and that's what I'm doing now.
And you are doing it quite well, I believe. I believe we have already understood that Spanish and Portuguese have right to have different pieces, but you have right to have a problem with that and to want help.
May I
so,
ask?
Another question?
Yeah. I will not talk about pizza, but I think
Thank
that
you.
we are talking about Rome 1, Rome 2, and I'm sorry I can't give you the number of articles, but in those documents we are talking that all the disputes and all the things which are connected with real estate we have to use the rule of lex rei site. So if you are a foreign notary, you have to know the law for the real estate of country when it is. So where it is. So those are the troubles of for the notaries, because we have to know perfectly law which we have to use. Mm. And those are the problems with pizzas, because I think that every country has some kind of problems, and which we don't know, and which will be very difficult for us to understand how it's going on in a country, because it's not only the law, but it's the custom, it's the clients which are used to a special way of preparing documents.
Yes, I agree. And if I may say so, the lex rei site is, of course, I have to respect that, but that's the part that that deals with in fact, registering the deed. But Rome I and Rome II is about the obligatory phase. That's just before. It's an agreement between the two parties.
But you also know that the obligation is not enough in two countries.
Sorry?
That the obligation, that the only 1 year of obligation is not enough to pass the ownership of the real estate, because there are some countries which have the other demands.
Of course, I'm aware of that.
Well, are there any more questions? Yes, please. Here.
Hello, Frits.
Hello.
I just wanted to tell you that we, registrars in Spain, are obliged to verify that the deeds which are presented in land registry accomplish with legal requirements. So it is not a capricious decision of each registrar. Any of us would ask you for the tax paying or the licenses. So it wasn't that each of us acts in a different way. It is that you presented different deeds in different registrars, and all of them had some problems. So,
well, the
if you don't accomplish with law, it is impossible that the deed registers.
Well, I hope you're right, but I think the interpretation of the notarial deeds can differ per registrador. But that's my experience. But I would like to discuss it with you.
I'm open to discuss it with you.
And now here in front, please.
Just only to make clear the previous intervention about the application of lex rei site. I tried to make clear in my presentation in the morning that the union law framework regarding conveyance does not differ with other kind of legal relationships. And it's clear that according to what has been already stated in European regulations, legal relationship can be subject to a different law to the lex rei site. And that's clear not only in Rome I, it's clear in successions, it's clear in matrimonial property regimes. And lex rei site cannot attract the entire legal relationship. On the contrary, lex rei site probably will demand to add additional requirements to comply with the lex rei site. Only that.
Thank you, Gabriel. Are there any more questions? No?